Do not set me up with that wiggle over there. I need bigger fish. I'm wasting my time. You know what? Look, man. Like I always say, I don't knock T.O. as a fighter, right? He's a good athlete, but you know what? I've seen a lot of things today that at 140, it ain't gonna happen, bro. Trust me. Not against me. If that was me in there, the fight would be way different. I guarantee you. I promise that.
Breaking news, ESPN announced Teofimo Lopez and Pedraza are finalizing a deal for December 10th. Now, Teofimo Lopez went from losing in a devastating fashion, where he took a humbling L from Barboza and lost all his confidence in the process. Then he went on to have a comeback fight, a tune-up fight against an unknown fighter that wasn't even ranked on the top 50, Kamba, to not having another tune-up fight, this time against Gervonta Tank Davis leftovers. However, unlike when Tank fought Pedraza when he was an undefeated champion, Teofimo Lopez is fighting Pedraza, coming off a loss and a draw, where a lot of people believe that Pedraza lost to Kome his last fight, which if you factor that in, Pedraza is coming off 2 losses, back-to-back losses. And that's who Teofimo Lopez is choosing to fight next. Remember, Teofimo Lopez told everyone that would listen his next fight after the tune-up fight Kamba was gonna be a pay-per-view fight. So are you telling me Teofimo Lopez is fighting Pedraza, a fighter coming off a loss and a draw, on ESPN pay-per-view? Of course not. This fight is not worthy to be on pay-per-view. I mean, even Teofimo Lopez's own family members wouldn't purchase this pay-per-view. The only way Teofimo Lopez can fight on pay-per-view at this point is by fighting the likes of Devin Haney and Tank, or at least Barboza and Ramirez. Even though they are not pay-per-view worthy, they are still better fights than Pedraza. That's why Teofimo Lopez, at this point of his career, is turning his career to a joke. I mean, for Teo to turn down better fights with Ramirez, the fighter who recently beat Pedraza, and for Teo to turn down another fight with Barboza, a fighter who has been hunting him down, and all Teofimo Lopez had to say was, "Please don't let that bum call me out. I got bigger fish to fry." Teofimo Lopez was begging Top Rank to protect him right after he beat Kamba. Now, I told you guys then, I made a video on it, which I'm going to leave the link for that video in the comment section below. If the undefeated Barboza is a bum, who's a top contender on the top 10, then what is Kamba, an unknown fighter that wasn't even ranked on the top 50, that had already been knocked out before? That's why I told you guys on that video, to hear Teofimo Lopez announce his next cherry pick is actually more intriguing and interesting than watching his cherry pick fights, because they nowhere near 50-50. Teofimo Lopez versus Kamba, that was a 95-5 at best. I also told you guys on that video that Teofimo Lopez put himself in a lose-lose situation because he forced himself to contradict himself. He forced to eat his own words, because he called Barboza a bum and said he had bigger fish to fry. Well, if that's the case, then Teofimo Lopez's fight after Kamba needs to be a bigger fight than the undefeated Barboza, who's on the top 10. And we all can agree that Pedraza is not a bigger fight than Barboza at this point, especially when you factor in the fact that Pedraza is not ranked on the top 10 at 140. However, Barboza is. In addition to that, Pedraza is coming off a loss and a draw, where majority of the boxing fans had Kome beating Pedraza his last fight. Therefore, we all know Barboza was the bigger fish, contradictory to what Teofimo Lopez said. Just like Ramirez is a bigger fish than Pedraza, because of course he beat Pedraza his last fight. However, Teofimo Lopez turned down fights with the bigger fishes, Barboza and Ramirez, to fight the smaller fish, Pedraza. Now, Teofimo the leftover Lopez is forced to contradict himself and eat his own words. With the facts being laid out, drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe below and click on the notification bell to be continued on the next episode of Akhi, Akhi TV. Peace and have a blessed day.
We tried our hardest. I seen a tweet that he posted earlier saying that like no one at 140 wanted to fight one of the top guys, and I respond to him, man, stretch your line ass. So man, he's lying, so but it's all right.